Welcome back to the American Dream. Our next guest on the show comes from San Antonio, Texas. We have Danny Springfield today. She's the lead agent for the Springfield Group with Keller Williams Legacy. And she has a special guest today, Jennifer Smith, the executive director of South Texas Alliance for Orphans. Danny, welcome back to the show. And Jennifer, welcome. Great to have you both.
Thank you.
Hi, Sarah.
So Danny, tell me a little bit about why you brought Jennifer today and your relationship with one another.
Well, I met Jennifer when I was going through foster parent training. She was leading the training, and we were foster parents for a while, and we try to stay really actively involved in that world. Jennifer, since, has become, she's too humble to say this, but she's become a local celebrity in the foster care world here in San Antonio and has done amazing things. And, there's a lot going on in the news right now that's applicable, and I thought it'd be great to get her on here and spread awareness for what's going on in foster care here in the San Antonio area.
Amazing, amazing. You both are angels with this. Oh my goodness. Well, we've all been hearing about, the separation, like you said, of families at the border all across the U.S. So, Jennifer, how is this really affecting foster care in South Texas?
So in South Texas, we already have a foster care crisis of Texas kiddos. And there are some kids that have come across the border also that are in Texas foster care. The crisis that's happening right now strains an already stressed system. And so they don't go into the same foster homes. They're federally trained, and that's the contract with them. But nonetheless, the resource pool is still the same as far as families and people willing to step in. And so it is stressing an already strained system. And so we're seeing, just kids not finding placement, kids sleeping in office buildings with caseworkers because there's not enough families to take in these kids. So it just kind of compounds what we already had, what we're already struggling with here in Texas.
Okay, I feel like that sort of answered my next question for you, but it sounds like it is a really serious crisis down there. Do people really have a good idea of that, or is it more serious than people maybe can even imagine?
I think now at the border, people are understanding that kids get separated from families for various reasons. I think kids in foster care have kind of been a silent victim for decades now. And so we, here in South Texas, 3 kids are removed from their parents every day because of abuse or neglect, drug abuse, and nobody really knows about that. It's like I said, they're kind of the silent victims in our community. And so we want to raise awareness about these kids, that they're here every day of the year, unfortunately, that our community is trying to take care of. And so we have close to 5,000 kids that were in foster care in 2017. Close to 2,500 of those had to be placed with people that were not relatives, so not even grandparents, aunts, uncles, or cousins. They were placed with strangers.
Yeah, I'm curious. What is the Alliance doing to really help address the foster care crisis?
So when we started fostering, we went to our church and said, "Hey, I heard about this crisis that's going on in our community." And after some time, they jumped on board, and we started a ministry there. And then other families were coming to us saying, "Hey, how are you doing this at your church?" And so we just started handing off what we were doing. And then it grew into this organization that it is now, the Alliance, and where we actively go out and seek churches and organizations that are serving in this space, connect them. We take the foster, I see a lot of fear in this space with people not wanting to get involved but not knowing how to. So we take that very confusing, very fearful process and break it down into steps that everybody can get involved. So we help churches find, where does our culture, where does our demographic, where does our DNA of our people and our passion, when do those intersect with the foster care system, and how can we activate the people in our church to get involved in being part of the solution here?
It's really remarkable, and I said angels earlier, and it is, you really both are earth angels to really selflessly try to help this crisis. Are there other ways that people can get involved or donate, Danny or Jennifer?
One way that nobody talks about is, if you know a foster family, just befriend them and kind of force help on them, because a lot of them won't ask for it. But meals, if anybody's sick, do they need help getting the kids places? That's one of the things all foster families share as a challenge. But as far as formal involvement, CASA is a fantastic organization that educates and equips people to serve as advocates for foster children within the court system. And it's amazing how heavily judges rely on what the CASA advocate says and what they recommend for that child's future, because there's a lot of players in the system and they're all pretty busy and overwhelmed, and a CASA advocate will be assigned to one child or a group of siblings and advocate for their best interests. The Vault and Bernie, they're currently in Bernie and they're looking to move to San Antonio pretty soon. They're doing a great job of collecting donations of material goods, essential items, everything from diapers to clothing to formula to cribs, bikes, everything. And they store it in a warehouse, and it is volunteer run and driven for sorting and collecting donations and then dispersing those out to foster families. All of these groups also take monetary donations as well, of course, but they're great ways to get involved, even if time is what you have to give. Ransom Life works with teenage girls who have been rescued from from sexual exploitation, from trafficking, and educates them. So they're looking for people to help tutor and educate the girls and get them back on the right path. And then also for people just to mentor them in a more personal capacity as they heal and get ready to do other things. The Through Project works in a similar capacity. They work with at-risk teens who are aging out of foster care. That's a huge issue because you get 18-year-olds, and we all know they're maybe not fully adults at 18, and they now have no foster home, and they have no resources, and they don't have families to fall back on. So having a mentor relationship as they turn into adults, I think is very impactful for them. There's a lot of statistics about quick pregnancies as soon as women age out at age 18, or incarcerations. So they help them get past that. Becoming a foster parent would be an obvious way to get involved. There's lots of organizations in town that will license you and hold your hand and support you as you go through that process. I personally am a big advocate for 4Kids of South Texas, but there's a lot to look into if you're considering that, or providing respite care or babysitting for families who are doing that. And then if you are a foster family or an adoptive family and you need help and you're not sure where to turn, my church, University United Methodist, is one of the ones who has an active foster care ministry and would love to help you out. So you can reach out to me directly through that, or find us on Facebook, UUMC Foster/Adopt Ministry.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for coming on today. Jennifer, thank you as well, really bringing awareness to the foster care crisis down in South Texas. Thank you both for coming on.
Thanks
for having us.
And you're watching The American Dream. Stick around. We'll be right back.